Have you ever checked your phone when you didn't need to? Or scroll on TikTok or Instagram Reels for hours on end? Without you knowing it, your brain was subconsciously looking for the chemical dopamine. Today, I would like to inform you of the invisible chemical trap that is controlling your attention right now and how to break free from it. In a world flooded with instant gratification from social media, entertainment, video games, and notifications, managing our focus has become a common problem that holds many students back from their true potential. Falling into the trap of endless digital scrolling myself, learning how to manage how I intake dopamine has been extremely helpful to me. So, in this presentation, my goal is to help students break free from digital burnout by explaining what dopamine actually is and how modern lifestyle habits hijack it, so that we can swap the exhausting loop of cheap dopamine for the sustainable power of rich dopamine. In order to take back control of our focus, it is best to begin by taking a look at how this biological chemical works in the first place. Many people mistake dopamine for a simple pleasure chemical, but neuroscientists have proven it is actually released before we receive a reward, driving our anticipation and motivation to act rather than the satisfaction itself. Many people mistake, excuse me, according to a clinical overview study by the Cleveland Clinic, dopamine is a monoamine neurotransmitter that acts as the chemical messenger between neurons, regulating vital functions like motivation, memory, and reward evaluation. In his foundational research published in the journal Science, Dr. L. Iverson explains that specific dopamine receptor pathways in the brain are entirely dedicated to recognizing these chemical signals, processing incentives, and driving human behavior forward. When this system operates naturally, it serves as a healthy evolutionary survival tool that pushes us to put in effort to seek out food, learn new skills, and accomplish meaningful long term goals. However, because our brains are hardwired to look for the easiest possible path to a reward, the modern digital landscape has created a massive evolutionary mismatch. Now let's move on to explaining the trap of cheap dopamine. Cheap dopamine is instant gratification that requires zero effort to achieve, such as endless video scrolling, gaming loops, streaming, heavily processed fast food. In the article Too Much of a Good Thing, Dopamine and Stimulants, published in the American Biology Teacher, researchers Linda Martin Morris and her colleagues explain that when intense external stimuli flood our brain's receptors, it alters our natural chemistry and breaks down our normal cognitive regulation. This is exactly how modern digital platforms function. They act as a constant artificial stimulant designed like a slot machine to keep us hooked. In a study from the American Journal of Psychology, researchers G. Newquist and R.A. Gardner noted that intense, immediate incentives like food rewards or highly stimulating artificial cues act forward on the brain, rewiring our attention so we bypass long term goals in favor of immediate consumption. The consequence of these instant spikes is a severe chemical crash that resets our baseline motivation even lower, leaving us feeling chronically restless, unmotivated, and anxious for another quick distraction just to feel normal. Fortunately, this vicious cycle of overstimulation has a cure that we can use to trade a restless mental state for one that is genuinely fulfilled. Cultivating rich dopamine through delayed gratification. Rich dopamine is the steady reward chemical earned through effort, patience, and moving through mental friction, such as finishing a tough workout, learning a new skill or a new sport, or focusing deeply on a school project. Research published in the Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences by Dr. P. Hashemi and colleagues demonstrated that the brain regulates neurotransmitters like dopamine and serotonin through highly specific, sensitive feedback loops. When we overstimulate these systems with quick digital hits, we disrupt that regulation. But when we allow them to function naturally through steady, effort based activities, our brain chemistry remains stable and balanced. Unlike the rapid, draining spikes of cheap distractions, effort based pursuits release dopamine gradually and sustainably through the actual process of working towards a goal, reinforcing true focus and cognitive resilience. So, to conclude all my points, the difference between cheap and rich dopamine comes down to effort and balance. Cheap dopamine leaves us empty because it forces our brain into a continuous cycle of crashing and craving, outsourcing our attention to an algorithm. Rich dopamine builds us up because it's earned through effort, protecting our natural focus and yielding lasting mental rewards. It is not about eliminating every piece of technology that we have. It's about choosing to cross through moments of friction rather than taking the effortless exit. Next time you find yourself with 10 seconds of blank space and automatically reach for your phone to kill the boredom, recognize the trap of the quick fix. Resist the urge to slide the easy lever of cheap dopamine and take back the controls of your own mind. Thank you for your time.